The storage building was a single-level large floor, which resembled that of a hangar. The main purpose of the building as a shelter was to keep equipment such as mechs, airships, and all sorts. They also used it as a temporary room to store things for travelers. Quinn had left the other building and slowly started to make his way to the storage room. He had no clue when the sun would rise and needed a place to stay for the night. After fighting the group of Radiclaws, he was feeling a bit tired. Not only that, but he was hoping that he might come across some treasures at the storage room. He just couldn't see the downside of trying to reach the building. On his way, he treaded carefully to make sure he didn't alert any more beasts in the area. As he walked through from building to building, he spotted a few Radiclaws feasting on something in the middle of the street. Damn, they're everywhere, just like rats back on Earth, Quinn thought. If there was a single rat on its own, then he might have chosen to confront it, but while there were 3 of them out on the street, he didn't want to risk it. The experience points gained from killing a beast was tempting, but to fight 3 at once meant there was a chance he would either have to use his blood spray, or at least his blood swipe skill. Quinn continued to head towards the storage building until finally he had arrived. At the front, there were 2 large steel doors which slid open. Afraid that they might make a lot of noise and attract unwanted attention, he decided to walk around the building to see if there were any other openings or entrances. After walking around the side of the building, he had no such luck, but as he nearly reached the back of the building, he started to hear strange noises. He slowly crept down the side, making sure to make no noise. With his back hugging the side of the wall, he peeked out to take a look. It seemed like there was another Radiclaw, only this one was squealing and on its back in pain. Its cries were weak, and he wondered just how long had the beast been there for. After waiting a few moments, there was no sign of any other creatures. He came out from the side of the wall and walked up to the injured Radiclaw on its back. As he got closer to it, the Radiclaw snarled at Quinn and tried to swipe its claws out, but the attacks were far too slow and the beast could hardly move. Still trying to kill me even in this state, Quinn thought. As he got closer, the beast continued to swing its arms out towards Quinn, despite it not being able to move. Its legs had been crushed by something, and it had a large wound on its stomach. "Let me put you out of your pain." He walked up to the beast, and with a single blow to its head, it had died. 100 experience points gained, 1140 of 1600 EXP. As Quinn looked at the back of the building, he could see a small hole in one of the corners. Did the Radiclaw come out from there? Before entering, he gulped at the thought that perhaps whatever injured the rat might be inside. Crawling on his front, he had reached the hole and tried to pop his head in. It was big enough for a human to fit through, but what he was afraid of was inside the building. If he entered the building, there might be 100 of those things or something that was stronger than the Radiclaw itself. Quinn crawled forward to the entrance of the hole and started to look into the hangar. Although the hangar contained no light source and was completely void of light from the moon, his vision allowed him to see clearly inside. After scouting the area for a while, it seemed like there was nothing inside, but of course, he couldn't be sure. He thought about it for a while, but in the end, the possibility of getting a new beast weapon or something amazing was too tempting for him. He crawled through the hole and entered into the hangar. As he stood up onto his feet, he was quickly disappointed by the state of the hangar. Nearly everything inside had been destroyed, and just piles of scrap metal and rubbish remained. There were no airships, mechs, and no beast weapons. Whatever was left was unable to be used. However, the building was large, and Quinn wouldn't give up just from his initial view. He started to walk around the hangar for a while, until eventually there was a room stationed in the corner. It was hard to tell how big it was, but it seemed like it went the whole length of the hangar, and on closer inspection, it looked more like a large container. He walked up to the room, and there was a single steel door with a passcode device next to it. The door was military grade, which meant even those with abilities would find it hard to break it down. Perhaps it was the reason why no one so far had been able to enter, including the beasts. But it was clear to him that whatever was in the container had yet to be destroyed, and most likely whatever was inside was important stuff worth locking. Should I try hammer strike on it? Quinn looked around the hangar. The ceiling was high and the roof was made of metal. If he was to perform a hammer strike in a place like this, the sound would just echo out. However, Quinn didn't want to give up that easy. All that stood in front of him and his treasures was a single door. There must be something he could do. He looked at the passcode on the side and pressed 4 random digits before pressing the enter button. Beep. Of course I'm not that lucky, he thought. Right now, Quinn was desperate and wanted to try everything. He thought perhaps if he was able to use the inspect skill, maybe it would give him some information. Inspect. A passcode machine which is linked to a steel door. Entering the right combination to the door will successfully open it. Just as Quinn was about to give up, another notification sound was heard in his head. Inspect skill is now level 2. Inspect skill will now display more information about objects, humans, items, and more. Ever since his blood swipe skill had leveled up, Quinn was sure his other skills could level up too, but he never thought about his inspect skill too much while using it. Looking at the lock again, his gut was telling him to try it. Inspect. A passcode machine which is linked to a steel door. Entering the right combination to the door will successfully open it. Please touch the lock for more information. Quinn then did as his inspect skill said and touched the lock. Nothing happened, but then he used the inspect skill one more time. A passcode machine which is linked to a steel door. Entering the right combination to the door will successfully open. The combination to the door is 2536725364. Quinn immediately tested out the number the system had given him. Beep! Ka-chuk! The door then made an unlocking sound and swung open. Seeing that the intermediate beast was patrolling around the storage room, Ian and Vorden had decided to go to a different part of the shelter. As Ian said, it was most likely the portal wasn't there in the first place. Even though the portal was in a red zone, the portal on the other end still had to be placed in a safe place to make sure either beast from the other planet didn't enter it or destroy it. Of course, a party or a group could bring a portal with them to get back to their own world, but these were very expensive. Someone at Ian's level didn't have one of these devices because once they had been set up, they were unable to be taken back with them. It was a one-time use device. Any ideas of where the portal might be? Vorden asked. My guess is somewhere underground. It's safe for most of the beasts that way. Most likely they have a special building that looks like any other and a secret entrance. Wait, so are you saying we just have to keep going into buildings? Well, we can rule out all the residential buildings. They wouldn't be able to build a large enough base under those, and any of the small buildings or dangerous areas you can rule out as well. There are only so many big buildings that would be large enough to store a big base under. The two of them continued to look into building after building, but there was no luck or no sign of a secret room. Eventually, they entered what looked like a library, although most of the books had been destroyed and several of the bookcases had fallen over as well. That's when a loud rumbling sound had come from Vorden's belly. I guess we've been traveling for a while now. Why don't we rest here for the night? It doesn't look like there are any beasts here, and we can build our own fortress, Ian said.
Subscribe to the Pocket FM Blockbuster YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notifications. Check out our channel for more exciting shows.